Hello， 大家好 ，welcome to my channel. I'm originally a game nerd and a self-learner of English from China. I'm talking about anything that I'm interested in to practice my English speaking skills because I haven't found any opportunities to use it in my daily life. So today's victim of my practice is Blackmyth-Wukong. Since its release, it has been met with tremendous acclaim from both the domestic and international players. Although everyone who's played it speaks highly of it, though it has sparked numerous controversies, causing a fair amount of stirring even out the game community. Despite these debates, those who have ever played it generally view it as a strong contender for Game of the Year. However, while the game does have its flaws and isn't perfect, if we assume it as the perfect game deserving of the title, I still hold a negative view on its chance of winning major awards, especially at the Game Awards (TGA), often called the Oscar of the game industry. Here's why I don't think it can ultimately win Game of the Year. Of course, if it does, feel free to come back and slap my face and tell me I was wrong. Firstly, it comes from China. I feel like being from China is almost like an original sin for the game. As a Chinese person, I know this feeling all too well. Even me, as an ordinary Chinese person practicing English through videos, have received various insults and doubts. Despite it's not really infected me, but it can be a burden sometimes. Western mainstream media has never reported anything positive about China, so doubting something from China is often the default reaction. In my English studies, I've used the English language news platforms like the BBC, CNN, and the New York Times, or something like that, for practice. And I often see a portrayal of parallel China, a China that doesn't exactly relate to the reality I live in. Even IGN, which should focus on gaming content, tends to completely overlook the game itself and instead attack the entire country. I once made a video explaining the controversies surrounding the development team, but it was evident that many people didn't care about the truth. They only needed a reason to tarnish or undermine their opponent. In the article I mentioned, not only did they quote mistranslated content, but they also went on to criticize women's rights in China and then escalated it to target the country's political system. As a female working in the Chinese game industry, I can tell you that, at least in our company, we get menstrual leave, a half day off on March 8, Women's Day, and receive gifts from the company. My team is 18% female, and gender, sexual orientation, and identity labels are simply non-issues. We all work together as human beings, focusing on our abilities and our ability to get the job done. So you can imagine how I feel when I read such articles. Of course, this is just my situation. It can't present it the entire country. This New York Times article about the game also carried this ideological bias. Filled with the usual bleak photos and dark filters Western media often use when reporting on China, creating an oppressive feeling. So now I prefer use novels and books over news articles for English practice, as they are less likely to be so unpleasant. But again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't report all these negative things, but it's not always negative. You know what I mean? Like, there's no perfect place in this planet, right? Of course, I understand that conflicts and divisions can arise between countries over ideological or economic interests. But as an ordinary person, I have no desire to involved in this. Just wanted to study, play games, and communicate smoothly. However, these articles make communication more difficult and costly. Some people are probably nice, but a lot of them always begin with strange, ignorant, or boring questions, and my interest in continue the conversation immediately disappears. You know what I mean? I have to explain the same things over and over, We just can't learn anything from such conversations, which only wastes time and energy on both sides. After social media, let's go back to the awards. Toward the end of the year, nominations and selections for various awards began. In September and October, IGN had a voting mini-game where users could choose their favorite games between two options. It was supposed to be fun, not a serious choice. Yet even then, IGN modified the set's voting data, demoting Blackmyth-Wukong from first to sixth place. It's really a bit ironic. Like, for what? The Golden Joystick Award, known as the fan-voted award, initially didn't want to nominate Blackmyth-Wukong until a strong outcry from fans pushed them to add it reluctantly. As for TGA, which is supposedly a median and elite award, things seem even bleaker. As I mentioned above, many media outlets immediately gave it low scores, which one even citing lack of diversity as a reason. It's truly baffling. Some may argue that awards aren't that important. The game's data and reputation already speak everything, and we don't need the recognition of some authority figures. Moreover, the significance of Blackmyth-Wukong to the Chinese gaming industry is far greater than any award can convey, especially a foreign established one. Most Chinese players share this sentiment, and some are even humbly looking for ways to improve the game and make it even better. But even if a game is flawless, it still may never win everyone's recognition. So why can't we be confident in ourselves? Isn't that what DEI is supposed to promote? Pride in oneself. Why does that not apply here? In addition to ideological reasons, there are also practical considerations. TGA has previously nominated Chinese games. Genshin Impact was nominated 3 years in a row, though only for minor awards, but Blackmyth-Wukong is different. The support for it among players as a Game of the Year contender is very high. It's also being called a 3A game, which is a commercial label representing a high budget, high quality, and high profile major release. While this doesn't directly indicate a good game, it does imply top-tier technical and audiovisual standards, and it's a useful marketing hook. Blackmyth-Wukong achieved its current quality with a team of about 100 people and a budget of around 43 million, whereas Concord supposedly cost 400 million and the Dragon Age 4 between 115 to 215 million. In 2007, the first Assassin's Creed was made with a budget of 200 million. So when we look at these rising production costs and quality issues, combined with the gender-driven content that often frustrates players, you can imagine what a commercial blow this comparison could be. This is the real sore spot. This stark contrast is just too obvious, and using an award to highlight it would really put a lot of Western game company in a tough spot. Meanwhile, Blackmyth-Wukong reputation and influence can directly impact media and award decisions. If they ignore it, it will further damage the credibility, creating a difficult dilemma. Hence, we are seeing some clownish behind the scenes actions. I'm sure some people will accuse me of propaganda for seeing this, but no matter what, I need to vent. As I mentioned, the non-standing negative portrayal of China in these media outlets has affected my everyday interactions and increased the cost of communication. I've had enough of being asked if I eat dog meat, my credit score, or if I'm afraid of surveillance cameras. Just because I'm Chinese, it's so exhausted. Can you understand? I used to think the gaming world could be a pure space, but good games are becoming increasingly rare. All I see are divisions and conflicts disguised as diversity. I truly love the Assassin's Creed series, The Last of Us Part 1, Overwatch 1, Apex, The Witcher, Spider-Man, Superman, Avengers, The Lord of the Rings, just as you love Blackmyth-Wukong. Games should be unique cultural experiences and an escape where we can forget the troubles of real life. They should be a bridge for people from different backgrounds and countries. And all we want is very simple: joy. When will these so-called elites finally give joy back to us? What do you think about this? Feel free to share your side of stories in the comments below. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. As always, if I made any mistakes that confused you, please correct me. I really appreciate your help. So until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and peace. 再见，拜拜。